Hello guys. I'm back. Tyler Perry was once their guardian angel, the man who opened his Los Angeles mansion to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle when they fled the UK. No paparazzi, no press, just peace. Or at least that's how the story was told. Now, the same man who offered them sanctuary might be the one tearing it all down. Not out of spite, but out of legal liberation. Because when Perry was slammed with a $260 million lawsuit over workplace misconduct, Meghan's reaction wasn't supported. It was silence. And in doing so, she may have activated a dangerous clause buried deep in a private agreement. Tyler Perry was one of the few A-listers who loudly defended Harry and Meghan after the Oprah interview. He gave them a home, a private jet, an exit strategy. And now, amid serious allegations, Harry and Meghan have gone silent. Harry once told Anderson Cooper, "Silence is betrayal." The Sussexes have always claimed their lives were built on honesty, that their departure from royal duties was about freedom, healing, and telling the truth. But now that narrative is under fire because if Tyler Perry really has what insiders say he does, emails, voice notes, strategy calls, then their carefully polished image could be nothing more than a marketing campaign built on selective storytelling. Let's rewind for a second. When Harry and Meghan first arrived in the US, it wasn't the Netflix deal or Spotify podcast that kept them afloat. It was Tyler Perry. He not only gave them a mansion to live in, but also security, privacy, and legitimacy in Hollywood. And in return, they gave him something symbolic. The title of godfather to their daughter, Lily. But here's where it gets murky. There was no official christening, no verified details, and no public acknowledgement from the palace. Just a line dropped in their Netflix docuseries. Skeptics raised eyebrows at the time, but now the questions are deafening. Was it real or was it PR? Because when Perry got hit with his lawsuit, Meghan went dark. Posts were deleted. Mentions erased. Photos vanished. One day he was the cornerstone of their new life. The next, radio silence. And that silence wasn't just loud. It might have been contractual suicide. Legal sources close to the situation claimed Perry and the Sussexes had a non-disclosure agreement, but with a twist. If Perry were ever publicly cut off, he would be free to speak. Meghan's digital eraser might have triggered exactly that. And if he speaks, it won't be vague. Word is he's got receipts, not the kind that get brushed aside in tabloids, real unfiltered stuff, recordings from the days they pitched Netflix, private planning sessions, candid messages, things that show the narrative wasn't just raw emotion. It was rehearsed, curated for sympathy, packaged for profit. If you've followed Meghan and Harry's post-royal journey, you've seen the pattern. Emotional interviews, teary confessions, carefully timed media appearances that draw attention when things go wrong. When Perry's scandal exploded, what did Meghan do? She dropped lifestyle blog posts, posed for dreamy photos with wine glasses and soft filters. It's a formula. Control the story. Shift the focus. But this time, the distraction isn't working. The public isn't buying it. Hashtags like Tyler Knows All are blowing up. Former fans are rethinking everything. One tweet that went viral said it best. "We defended Meghan when it mattered. But if this was all a lie, we were used." That's the knife twist. If Perry reveals the Godfather title was fake, or worse, used as a brand move, then even their child's image was part of the spin. Strategically placed loyalty can mean survival. If Harry and Meghan backed Perry, it could encourage others to do the same. But instead, their silence feels like pure self-preservation. At the time, people let it slide. Now, with everything being questioned, it feels more like a PR stunt than a sacred role. Perry's silence has been deafening. His team is reportedly being swarmed with offers, interviews, exclusives, book deals. 3 major media outlets are said to be negotiating for first rights. And you better believe they are not asking for fluff pieces. They want hard proof, real documentation, the kind that turns headlines into history. Legal experts say that if Perry talks, and especially if he shares anything that contradicts Sussex's Netflix content, it could open the door to legal consequences, not just backlash. Breach of contract, defamation claims, and fraud accusations aren't off the table. All eyes are now on Prince Harry's unexpected trip back to the UK. No cameras, no official statements. He just left alone. Every new blog post is met with skepticism. Every filtered photo feels more staged. Even diehard supporters are hesitating because if this whole thing turns out to be one long con, if the tears, the trauma, the family breakups were all part of a media blueprint, then the backlash won't just be brutal. It'll be permanent. The most dangerous part of all this, Perry knows where the bodies are buried. Figuratively, of course. But when someone's been inside your private life, when they've heard your unfiltered fears and your rawest plans, they don't need to lie to destroy you. All they have to do is tell the truth. And now it looks like he finally can. He's no longer the silent guardian of their story. He's the man holding the match, standing over the kindling they built themselves. One interview, one leaked voice memo, one email could blow the whole narrative sky high. And if that happens, there's no coming back. The illusion of control has always been Meghan and Harry's greatest asset. They mastered the art of timing, of turning every personal setback into a global conversation, every private moment into a public narrative. But this time, the script isn't theirs to write. The power dynamic has flipped. Tyler Perry, once a background figure offering quiet support, now holds the narrative in his hands. And the longer he stays silent, the louder the world listens.
Social media has become a battleground.
Meghan's image as a philanthropic force and Harry's position as a mental health advocate were always rooted in public trust. If that trust cracks, endorsements disappear. Invitations vanish. Suddenly, the people who once championed their journey are distancing themselves. Brands that align with truth and transparency don't want to be associated with controversy that feels engineered.
Legal experts are also circling.
If Perry's recordings contain proof of manipulated storylines or worse, evidence of Monetized fabrications, Netflix, Spotify, and other partners might revisit their contracts. A breach could mean pulled episodes, cancelled deals, and lawsuits worth millions.
It's not about tabloid gossip anymore.
It's about intellectual property, reputational damage, and legal accountability. But the most personal consequence is also the most devastating. A moment where an image meets reality, and only one can survive. Meghan and Harry bet everything on controlling their own story. But when you rely too heavily on the narrative, you forget the one rule that always catches up.
Receipts don't lie. And Tyler Perry. Thanks for watching.